of now. It's time for House Republicans to get back in town, get to the negotiating table, and get real about reopening the government and addressing the quality of life and cost of living challenges that the American people face all across the country. House Republicans canceled votes last week. House Republicans canceled votes this week. House Republicans appear ready to cancel votes next week. These people are not serious about reopening the government. Donald Trump and Republicans decided to shut down the government because they'd rather inflict that kind of pain that the American people are experiencing right now than address the health care of everyday Americans and the need to urgently extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits to avoid tens of millions of Americans from having to pay dramatically increased premiums, co-pays, and deductibles. This Republican healthcare crisis must be addressed with the fierce urgency of now. That's not a partisan position. It's a widely held view amongst the American people all across the country, which is why our position continues to be clear. We will sit down to negotiate with members of the Trump administration, with Republican leaders in the House and the Senate. We're ready to do it now, but we have to also address the Republican health care crisis. Questions?
Leader Jeffries. Thank you. Good afternoon. Yesterday, Leader Schumer indicated that the longer this goes on, this is better for the Democrats. Do you believe, as Republicans suggest, that that's a callous remark, that this is kind of a scorekeeping going on here?
House and Senate Democrats have been completely aligned, and we've taken a principled position in defense of the health care of the American people. Leader Schumer and Senate Democrats have courageously taken vote after vote against the partisan Republican spending agreement and bill because that bill continues to gut the health care of the American people. This is an extraordinary health care crisis that even Marjorie Taylor Greene recognizes is a very real thing for everyday Americans all across the country. The largest cut to Medicaid in American history that Republicans have visited upon the American people. That's a real thing. The possibility of a $536 billion cut to Medicare that will take effect at the end of this year if Congress doesn't act because of the one big ugly bill. That's a real thing. The fact that unless we extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits, tens of millions of Americans are about to experience dramatically increased premiums, co-pays, and deductibles by thousands of dollars per year. That's a real thing. The fact that hospitals, nursing homes, and community-based health clinics are closing all across the country, including in rural America, that's a real thing. The Republican healthcare crisis is real. It's upon us. It's devastating the country. And House Democrats, partnering with Senate Democrats, are standing up on principle in defense of the American people.
Was there a problem with that remark?
Have you spoken?
The president brought your name up earlier today during a cabinet meeting. Is that the first time that he has actually said your name out loud? And also, why is it important for you to have something resembling a working relationship with the president?
I guess it appears to be the first time that he has actually mentioned my name, but we obviously, more importantly, had a meeting a week ago to sit down at the White House, at the Oval Office, to try to negotiate a bipartisan spending agreement to, at the time, avoid a shutdown and also to address the Republican health care crisis. Unfortunately, subsequent to that Oval Office meeting, the Republican behavior has been erratic at best. Subsequent to that White House meeting, all we saw from President Trump were deep fake videos, threats to cancel projects, promises made to engage in mass firings, Republicans in the House continuing to be on vacation all across the country, and Leader Thune engaging in the classic definition of legislative insanity, which is doing the same thing over and over and over again, bringing the same partisan Republican spending bill to the Senate floor over and over and over again and expecting a different result. Things are not going to change until Republicans actually decide to get serious about a bipartisan negotiation, because our position has been well articulated in defense of the American people: cancel the cuts, lower the costs, save health care.
Leader Jeffries, have you spoken with Speaker Johnson about Congresswoman-elect Adelita Grijalva? Is he setting a precedent here that you could follow?
Well, Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva should be sworn in now. Should have happened this week. It should have happened last week. It needs to happen next week.
Leader Jeffries. Thank you, Mr. Leader. You mentioned that you're willing to sit down with the Trump administration. You say that it's going to be up to President Trump to give Speaker Johnson and Leader Thune marching orders on how to resolve this issue. J.D. Vance is reportedly going to Indiana tomorrow to talk to Indiana Republicans about redrawing their maps. It appears that the president could be going to the Middle East in the aftermath of the peace agreement that was announced yesterday. Does that indicate to you that this shutdown will go on into the weekend, into next week? What are your thoughts about the administration's movement heading into the weekend as this shutdown goes on?
Donald Trump and Republicans shut the government down because they'd rather inflict pain on the American people than address the health care crisis that they've created. And the behavior that we continue to see, including the vice president apparently traveling to Indiana to try to rig the congressional map as part of their effort to steal the midterm elections, again reinforces the lack of seriousness in terms of their behavior, particularly as it relates to reopening the government or making sure that our military troops who are in harm's way are actually paid. And it's very unfortunate that their behavior continues to signal that they are uninterested in the type of bipartisan negotiations necessary to bring the Trump Republican shutdown to a close. I hope that changes. I hope it changes today. I hope it changes tomorrow. We'll meet with them anytime, any place, anywhere, either here at the Capitol or back in the Oval Office. But Republicans need to get serious about reopening the government. They need to get serious about reaching a spending agreement that actually makes life better for the American people, addresses the cost of living crisis that exists in America that Donald Trump promised to fix on day one, but costs haven't gone down on day one. Costs have gone up. The Trump tariffs are making life more expensive. And now, because of their refusal to deal with the Affordable Care Act tax credits, health care premiums are about to explode.
Leader Jeffries, would you support a standalone bill for military members? I believe that has happened in previous shutdowns. There may be a bill already introduced to do that now.
Yes, and what House Republicans need to do is come back so we can address the military pay issue and reopen the government. I mean, this is an extraordinary thing. It's unbelievable. Members of the House Republican Conference are upset and perplexed that their leadership has them on vacation week after week after week. The last day the House was in session was September 19th. Republicans got out of town before sundown, and we haven't seen them back in Washington since. This is extraordinary. This is a crisis, both in terms of the government shutdown, the impact on the American people, the impact on aviation safety, the impact on public safety, the impact on the health and well-being of the American people. And House Republicans remain on vacation. Their own voters are telling them, including the Republican Speaker, get back into town. Sit down with Democrats. Engage in a bipartisan negotiation. Reopen the government and address the health care crisis that they've created, which impacts rural America, small town America, urban America, working class America, black and brown communities throughout America, and the heartland of America. That's the focus that Democrats have. We need Republican partners to join us.
Leader
Thank you.
Jeffries. What do you think of the Trump administration's plan to pay for the